From Breaking Bad and Atlanta to Fleabag and BoJack, these are the best TV shows from 2010 to 2019. Welcome back to FilmShack. Today, we prepared for you the top 10 best TV shows of the decade so far. Number 10. Community.
Barack Obama is scared of me because I don't swallow knowledge and I spit it for free. Let me clear my throat. I don't know what that was, I don't.
Community centers on Jeff Winger, Joel McHale, a sharp-witted lawyer who finds himself at Greendale Community College after his degree gets revoked. Hoping to attract the attention of fellow student Britta, Gillian Jacobs, while scoring some easy A's, Jeff forms a Spanish study group that unexpectedly brings together an eclectic group of students, including pop culture junkie Abed, Danny Pudi, hippie-turned businessman Pierce, Chevy Chase, middle-aged divorcee Shirley, Yvette Nicole Brown, neurotic perfectionist Annie, Allison Brie, and former high school jock Troy, Donald Glover. Things tend to get a little crazy, especially when the group goes up against Chang, Ken Jeong. But as Jeff learns that street smarts don't replace book smarts, he also finds himself getting a social education. Created by the directors of Arrested Development, this well-written series successfully mixes traditional sitcom humor with some of the quirky social interactions made famous in The Breakfast Club. It's also mildly edgy, thanks to the way the humor plays off the stereotypes associated with community colleges, the professors who teach there, and the people who attend them. Number 9. Better Call Saul.
So, this person came in and they bought something.
I think it was an Almond Joy.
They bought an Almond Joy, and when you rang them up, that's when they snatched the cash from the register.
The story of Jimmy McGill's, Bob Odenkirk, transformation into skeevy criminal lawyer Saul Goodman of Breaking Bad, fame as an emotionally heavy one. But it is a tale that is elevated by impeccable pacing and superb character development. As a Breaking Bad prequel, we know that there aren't particularly happy endings for many of the characters of Better Call Saul, which makes their struggles and fleeting moments of happiness all the more tragic. But crucially, this is more than just a show for Breaking Bad diehards. Better Call Saul is about deeply complex and conflicted people, and the writers have an uncanny ability to make you sympathize and even agree with two characters who may be vehemently opposed to the other in the same scene. Although Odenkirk's character may be the show's namesake, equal attention is given to the arcs of the similarly fantastic Kim Wexler, Rhea Seehorn, Mike Ehrmantraut, Jonathan Banks, Chuck McGill, Michael McKean, and the show's variety of other major and minor characters. Number 8. Game of Thrones.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There is no middle ground.
Put aside your feelings about the finale for a moment and consider the pop cultural juggernaut that was HBO's Game of Thrones during the 10s. Prior to Game of Thrones' premiere, television was on a serious artistic upswing, but still lacked one important element native to its filmic counterparts: spectacle. That all changed this decade with the excellent, excessive, and expensive fantasy series based off George R.R. Martin's previously thought to be unadaptable books. Game of Thrones accomplished big feats that no other TV show had been able to before this decade. Not only that, but it had the audacity to tell an incredible, intensely real, and political story to boot, for at least 6 seasons. Number 7. Atlanta.
Yeah, man, yo, this is my ex Lisa, man. We used to talk back after my mom's kicked me out the house, you know.
My nigga, that's a man.
Atlanta provides a distinct starring vehicle for the talents of the multi-hyphenate Donald Glover, who also created the series. Refreshingly profound, Glover uses his particular brand of humor to make topical, incisive statements while undermining assumptions, especially in its even more eccentric second season, Atlanta, Robin Season. It's an essential portrait of African-American life full of well-drawn characters, played by Glover, Brian Tyree Henry, Lakeith Lee Stanfield, and Zazie Beetz, offering the kinds of ruminations that could only come with allowances for rich interior lives. A love letter to the title city, it's also a dynamic chronicling of its underground hip-hop scene. Glover called the series Twin Peaks with rappers, and like that David Lynch critically acclaimed curio, Atlanta has developed a cult following of its own. The series has won 2 Golden Globes, as well as 2 Emmys. Glover's Emmy for Outstanding Directing for a Comedy Series was the first ever awarded to an African American. Number 6. The Americans.
You made my life a joke.
You were my only friend in my whole shitty life.
It may shock some to hear this, but even more than it was about the Cold War or capitalism or the failures of communism and democracy, FX's The Americans was about marriage, specifically the marriage of Russian spies Philip and Elizabeth Jennings, depicted with fiery intensity by Matthew Rhys and Kerry Russell. Even though it was spycraft that forced them together, and spycraft that nearly, repeatedly tears them apart, the Jennings are forever bound together not just by their sham travel agency or their 2 children. It's not even fear of discovery by their FBI agent neighbor Stan. No, what keeps Philip and Elizabeth together is the realization that at the very least, no matter how difficult the day or how oppressive the orders from Mother Russia, they are known to each other. Being seen by someone else, particularly in a situation that no one else could ever hope to understand, is more valuable than anything, even nuclear secrets. All married people and spies know that. It's a love story like you've never seen before, scarred and mangled by a history of systemic abuse and institutional failure, as people are used like pawns in a chess game between global superpowers. You know how the Cold War ends, but do you know what it takes to survive it? Number 5. Fleabag. Yes, a show fixated on a hot priest has inspired a near-religious fervor among many, including the Television Academy apparently, with a substantial evangelical community going up to anyone with an internet connection and querying in a half-desperate, half-ecstatic undertone. Have you seen it? It is perfect! You have to see it. This in part may be because we're basically in the end times, and we all need the rollicking laughs Fleabag provides. Another reason, if I may shove my religious tract on this subject in your mailbox. In the course of 12 episodes, creator and star Phoebe Waller-Bridge has done something revelatory. She's presented a human woman accurately. This is a world where the Bechdel test wouldn't need to exist. Fleabag is funny. She's fucked up. She's her own perpetual motion machine, experiencing simultaneous best and worst case scenarios as she navigates life. It's all of us, except in a better jumpsuit and wearing a dupe of Mac's Dare You lipstick. To paraphrase IndieWire's TV Awards editor Libby Hill, why hasn't there been a Phoebe Waller-Bridge Saint Candle made yet? Get on it, Etsy. Number 4. BoJack Horseman.
So I stopped at a Jack in the Box on the way here, and the girl behind the counter said, "Hiya, are you having an awesome day?" Not, "How are you doing today?" No, "Are you having an awesome day?"
Where to begin with one of the best animated series ever made? Well, I guess you can start with the longevity-proving persistence. Creator Raphael Bob Waksberg just keeps pushing the envelope each and every season. When you think the Netflix comedy has done it all, be it relatively small, like pushing perceptions of a character actress, or pretty big, like developing an entire underwear world for one silent episode, BoJack doesn't let its audience get bored or backtrack. It's all forward momentum, going along with not getting bored. The visual style, jokes, and direction remain an under-heralded attribute, as the frames are jam-packed with context, humor, and character development. Lisa Hannawalt's clever and eye-catching contributions are innumerable, while the team of artists continues to advance BoJack's on-screen language. Really, there's too much to wrap up in a blurb. We haven't even delved into the voice performers, so just know for all the attention BoJack gets for advancing animation's dramatic potential, it's built on a lot of love, and that comes through too. Number 3. Breaking Bad.
Stay out of my territory.
Remember that mental breakdown in the crawl space? Or the train heist? The pink teddy bear? I'm aware that there are at least half a dozen similarly unforgettable Breaking Bad moments I'm omitting. It's tempting to frame this entire summary as an effusive recap of the series' most explosive scenes, but I'd still end up going well over my word limit. Breaking Bad, which chronicles unassuming chemistry teacher Walter White's, Bryan Cranston, transformation into a ruthless meth kingpin, is undeniably a slow burn. The show never shies away from spending multiple episodes building up to any of those aforementioned high points, but that's not much of an issue when the scenes are shot this well and accompanied by such tense and frequently heart-wrenching dialogue. You know this, and I know this. That's why Breaking Bad was at the forefront of pop culture consciousness throughout the entirety of its 5-season run. And it's why we'll still be talking about the show for years to come. Number 2. Parks and Recreation.
He's not a pony, Ben. He's a mini horse. There's a big difference.
Well, then why is he so famous? Does he do something? What does he do?
Son, this horse has an honorary degree from Notre Dame.
Get this. There was a time when the antics of a politician brought genuine, non-ironic, non-cringe-inducing, nausea-generating laughter. After a wobbly first season, Parks and Recreation evolved into one of the kindest, big-hearted, hilarious shows on TV. One that proved that sharp writing doesn't need to rely on internecine warfare among its characters. Amy Poehler, as Pawnee's relentlessly well-intentioned Leslie Knope, leads a stellar supporting cast on the cusp of being very, very famous. Chris Pratt, Rashida Jones, Nick Offerman, Retta, Aziz Ansari, Aubrey Plaza, and Adam Scott. What's-his-face Rob Lowe was already pooping out of the stratosphere, of course. In an era where the dark underbelly of politics infests every second of our waking hours, Parks and Rec is a reminder that the soft, furry underbelly of Lil Sebastian is always out there, somewhere, waiting to give comfort. Not only does the show hold up, it's a show to hold on to, now more than ever. Number 1. The Leftovers.
Sam?
Daddy! Where are you?
Sam?
Some shows play it safe, and some shows swing for the fences. And then there's HBO's The Leftovers, which takes the ball, loads it into a contraption hell-bent on launching it into another dimension, and then does just that. On a lot of levels, the series defies definition, while also being exactly what you'd expect. The series begins with a global event, causing the disappearance of 2% of the world's population and forcing the other 98% to figure out how to keep living. Do you have questions? So does this series. So many questions. And unlike co-creator Damon Lindelof's previous series Lost, The Leftovers has a lack of answers built into its very DNA. Who are we? Where do we go when we die? Where did the people go when they disappeared? Am I a good person? Are you? Does it matter? Life has no answers to those questions, and neither does The Leftovers. And by abandoning that fruitless search for answers, the series gives itself over to the exploration of the questions and the people asking them. With too many unimpeachable performances to count, including Justin Theroux, Carrie Coon, Christopher Eccleston, and Ann Dowd, the show throws itself wholeheartedly into every exploration, whether that's a doomsday cult, an orgy cruise revolving around an old lion, or an exodus from the land of the undead, or an arc dedicated to Perfect Stranger star Mark Lynn Baker. Everything is fair game. Everything is beautiful. The Leftovers knows that the miracle of life is that it could crush us at any moment, and yet we live on. We would like to invite you to share your opinion with us. Do you agree with our list? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications bell. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!